Go ahead and get started. My name is Barton Morse. I'm teaching potatoes in a pot, and it's kind of a fun thing. Actually, I should have invited more children because this would be an ideal project for them. But this is the size pot I'm talking about. This one it's called an NC15 or a 15-gallon one, various names like that. And it has good drain holes in it. And so they'll drain out. That's important to do that. And when you first get them, what you do is you want to take and put some leaves or straw in the bottom here so that the soil that you put in doesn't fall out or anything. And then you can put your soil in here about that deep. And you put your little potato seed right in the center, and then you just cover that. And then you wait about a month, let it water it in real good, and let it start to grow. This here pot is 18 inches across, and it's 15 inches deep. That seems to be about an ideal size for growing the potatoes. And usually plant the potatoes about the 1st of May. So coming up this month, they should be coming out with seed potatoes. You should be able to go to Murdoch's or, well, just about any place and get some nice seed potatoes. Or you can order them too if there's a specific variety you like. It takes about 120 days for the potatoes to grow to maturity. So you put them in the 1st of May, and sometime in September, October, you can harvest them. And they'll be growing along pretty good, and then all of a sudden they'll just die down, and then you just dump them out and harvest them. So starting about, about in March, you want to get your seed potatoes. I guess I said that already. Be sure you get seed potatoes and not potatoes that you get for eating, because the ones that are for eating are covered in a inhibitor so that they won't sprout. And we grow a lot of good seed potatoes here, so it should be no problem to get some good seed potatoes. Even in the grocery store, they put them out. After you get your seed potatoes in March, then you want to leave them out. I get some egg cartons and then put the little seed potatoes in there and leave them open in the light. And in about a month they'll turn dark green, and that's what you want on a nice green potato to plant. Oh, some of the good reasons for growing them in a pot is with this method here, you won't have any scab to deal with. These here, let's see, from Fungi Perfecti has these growing fungus that you want to water them with, and they come in little packets like this here. And they have the different types of mycorrhizal fungi in them, and they have the bacteria, beneficial bacteria, especially in this one here. Then the formula that I have makes them a little bit on the acidic side, and that also helps with them. The reason I like to grow my own potatoes and not buy them so much, a lot of the potatoes you get are sprayed an awful lot. They use Roundup and stuff to knock down the greens, and lots of other things that they spray on them. So this formula mix is all organic and grows really nutritious potatoes, especially the skin on these. These are really good. Oh, and the skins are smooth, real smooth. They're not all rough and scaly like some. So it grows real nice. And when you're growing these potatoes, you'll need about 13 different elements. I have them listed there: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, and magnesium. And those are used in large amounts. So for the formula, I made up this formula that has those in it. Then the manganese, copper, zinc, boron, iron, molybdenum, and chlorine, those are just micronutrients, and you can pick all those up from the kelp meal. This is the kelp meal here. And one of these boxes, well, this may be a bit large for some, so you can get smaller containers and mix those. Or you can come out and get some from me. I'll just fill up your bucket or something. I usually make big batches of this stuff. So now I have a formula. I call it Formula 3, and it has 8.5 cubic feet, which is easily mixed up in a wheelbarrow. And we get 5 buckets of forest fines. That's kind of like just ground up bark, basically. And then 2 buckets of peat, 1 bucket of concrete sand, and a 4th bucket of perlite. That's for drainage, and so is the concrete sand. And then oh yeah, the peat. I use Pico peat from Bighorn because that's the best you can get. And you put the concrete sand in just for drainage, because if you use Pico peat straight, it tends to, the water just kind of goes over it. But you mix the sand in with it, and then it'll go right down. It makes a real good soil. Then to enrich it, I put in alfalfa meal, 2.5 cups of kelp meal, 3 1/4 cups of gypsum, that's for the calcium, and then 1 cup of lime, that has the calcium and the magnesium in it. But you can only use that in acid soil, and this is a little bit on the acid side. So. And then BioLive, which has everything in it, has a little bit of all these things. And you put that in. 3/4 cups of Epsom salts, 1 cup of fish bone meal. I like to use fish bone meal rather than regular bone meal, just because well, there's like mad cow disease and stuff, so just to save, I'll just use fish meal. And then worm castings, and they have a lot of micronutrients in them too, the iron and things like that. And then the green sand is a real good source of, I believe it's potassium. And the langbeinite, the langbeinite is a good source of potassium. So, and that, now the langbeinite is a mined organic product. Well, it's natural, and it's real strong, so just use what it says on it, 3.5 cups.
Where do you get your worm castings from?
Home Depot has some.
They do?
Yeah, little bags in it.
Oh, okay.
So,
When you talk about bucket here, what size bucket?
5-gallon bucket, a little bit smaller than this here.
So would 1 bucket be enough for that size?
Yeah, when you put the straw in and then you mulch it with straw on the top, that, yeah, it should be enough.
Okay.
I kind of broke down what's in some of these, like the gypsum has 21% calcium, 16% sulfur, and the lime has 21% calcium and 10% magnesium. So that's really important. Epsom salts has a lot of magnesium, 10% and 12% sulfur. Langbeinite has 22% potassium, and it also has 10% magnesium, 22% sulfur. So those are all excellent sources of material for the plant to grow in. The worm castings have minerals in them, such as nitrates, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, calcium. It also contains manganese, copper, zinc, cobalt, borax, iron, and we don't really need cobalt, but it's in there. So, and then the kelp meal has the molybdenum in it, plus a lot of other trace elements. Oh yeah, and then the different types of potatoes there's Huckleberry Gold, which is purple on the outside and yellow on the inside. That's a new one they came out with this year. The purple Viking is purple on the outside and white on the inside, and a very good baking potato. And Yukon Gold is pretty popular too. It's golden on outside and inside. May 1st is planting day, and you can plant as late as June 10th. You'll need 120 to 130 days for the potatoes to grow. I fill the pot up with the leaves on the bottom then, and then put the potatoes in the bottom. Oh yes, and then by the fall, those leaves on the bottom, they'll probably have worms in them, and they'll be composting down, so you can just put that back in the garden. and it'll be just great. Oh yeah, usually I just take one seed right in the center of these, because they'll just fill this whole thing up, believe it or not. Big green leaves and all that. A lot of people talk about putting 5 in there, and I haven't actually done that, so this year I'm going to do that and see if I'm going to get poundage-wise increase, or if it'll make them smaller, or exactly what will happen. So we'll give it a try. I'm also going to try tomato planting when I'm due to see how that does. So.
You're going to plant a tomato with the potato?
Oh, not with the potato, just a separate experiment, yeah. See, being it's really, really rich soil, maybe tomatoes would be good in it too. Oh yeah, and then be sure not to, just give them a good water when you first plant them, and then don't water them until they start coming up, and they'll start growing pretty fast. And once they start growing, then you can start adding your soil around them, but don't cover the leaves up. Just kind of put it around them with the leaves sticking out as they grow, and then once they get to above the pot, then you can put as much soil as you want in them. And sometimes I'll put a little bit of straw on the top just to keep the weeds down, but usually there's not hardly any weeds because it's homemade soil. And also, I was going to say, well, oh yeah, the potato plant itself will just shade them out. So. Yeah, oh, and then you want to water them with this, this is called ecto and endo mycorrhizal. It has 13 beneficial bacteria, and what it does is it forms a protective sheath around the outside of the roots, and then the ecto part of it goes around the roots. Let's see, the ecto goes around the roots, and the endo goes inside the roots, protecting them from various diseases and scab and things like that.
And where do you get that at?
This one I got from Fungi Perfecti, and you can also get it at Box of Rain here in town.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Box of Rain sells this one here, which I really like. It's the Oregon one, and it has all the bacteria and all the fungi and everything in it. So it's a good mix, and you just put a tablespoon in a gallon of water and just water your plants with it. And it lasts for quite a while. It's kind of expensive, about $30 for one of these, but it'll last a long, long time. Each one of these is just a serving one. They're $5 a piece, but you can it's only for 1 gallon, and this is like for 10 gallons or something.
Where is this Box of Rain?
Box of Rain, it's moved, it's on Meridian right now, North Meridian. And you'll see it on the right, let's see, what is it by? It's not really by anything, but North Meridian, you'll see it on the right.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered that. Yeah, the potatoes will form in about 90 days, but just leave them in there because they'll just be hardly big enough to eat. But if you leave them in up to 130 days, they'll go from just little guys to great big potatoes.
So
if you like the little ones, you can do several pots and just pick them sooner.
Your recipe, how many buckets like that would your recipe fill?
Oh, let's see. About up to 10 maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you can make 10 of those.
Okay.
So, do you have any other questions?
On the last page, it says like how many pounds of potatoes it produced. Is that like per pot or like?
Yes,
Okay.
where it says it's 4 pounds up to 7 pounds, that's per pot.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm thinking, if I put in 5 seeds, is that going to
Yeah, how many
produce,
is it
is that
gonna
going to produce big ones or lots of little small ones? And is it going to increase the weight or not? So that'll be what I'll be doing this year with the experiment.
Would you recommend cloth pots?
Yeah, cloth pots are fine.
They
Sure.
work the same way?
Yeah, they work the same thing. It's about this size is which one. If you get them too much smaller, they just are a pain to water because you'd have to water them twice a day. and all that. These here, you can get by if you want it real good about every 2 to 3 days, even in super hot weather. They should be fine.
And I live in an apartment, so all I've got is my balcony,
Okay.
and it doesn't get sun the whole day because of the way
Okay.
it faces. Would that still be
Do you get 6 hours of sun?
direct sun? No.
Well, or just some sun?
Maybe.
Okay, well, what I think, being as they are from a bulb and they're growing tubers like that, they should be okay. I know like tulips and things like that, which are from bulbs, they come up in real deep shade and they're fine.
So what about temperature?
Temperature, it should be about 50, 60 degrees before you plant them.
So on May 1st, if it's not?
Yeah, May
If
1st.
it's not 50?
Yeah, well, if it's cold, damp, and rainy, you could probably hold off until it gets a little warmer.
Okay.
Like if you get some nice days coming, just wait. Because the cooler it is, the more chance you might pick up something, or they might rot or something like
Okay.
that. I put mine in the 27th of April last year, and every single one of them came up, so they were fine.
How do you store them over the winter?
They don't usually last that long.
Okay.
I eat mine up by October.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had 20 pots. So-
Wow, okay.
So I'm gonna grow 60 pots this year and see if I can keep them. Usually I keep them in a cool room in a cardboard box, they just fine. And they, probably about March or April, they'll start sprouting pretty good.
Yeah.
But then it's time to plant it again anyway, so.
Can you use the potatoes from last year that you haven't eaten?
Yeah, as long as they're not too wrinkly, if they're just wrinkled to nothing. then,
Right.
But if they're still good and don't have too big of sprouts, if they do, just break those out and you can eat those, sure.
And put the whole potato in?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, well, you don't want too many eyes on it, so you want to do a thing, I think they call it chipping, and you take the potato and you take the eyes out, except for a few on the top.
Oh,
And then that will prevent them from having lots and lots.
right, okay.
Where do you find those buckets?
Oh, I got these at Box of Rain,
Oh.
and it's the cheapest too. I mean, they're cheaper there than, ordering them. The time you pay shipping and all that, it's just as cheap to get them there.
Have you attempted potatoes other besides doing them in the pot, like a potato condo or?
I've done potatoes in the field, I've done rows them, I've thrown them in just pure leaves and stuff like that. I've had the best luck in these, so most poundage and easiest care, so.
So your other products, do you get all those at Box of Rain?
Yeah, I got all these at Box of Rain. These here I ordered from Fungi Perfect guy, and he's quite the guy. This Paul is, he's really into mushrooms. He tells about how he's saving bees and everything else, and
Huh.
so, it's really, really good for you if you use that, these different ones here.
Okay,
I got the 3 different ones they had just to see which one. This is for seeds, if you just planted seeds. This one is for vegetables. And this one has B1 in it, plus the bacteria fungi. And they're all supposed to be beneficial, helpful. And they did. When I took these and started my seeds in them, the seeds grew faster and bigger and healthier. And it was just a good way to go.
Do you find the seed potatoes at Box of Rain too?
No, he didn't have those. I go to Murdoch's or Super One, they have them there.
at
And Hoover's.
Super One?
Super One,
You said Super One?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they have them there. And try not to pay over $1 a piece, you can pay up to $5 or $10 a pound for them, so you know,
Right.
be careful where you get them. That's fine if you want, but you can get them a lot cheaper. $1 a pound is a good rate, so.
Do you cut your seed potatoes up, get a different eye and freeze the
I
bucket?
try to buy small potatoes, then I can just put them right in. Makes it a lot easier. And the greening up is pretty important, to put them in egg cartons like this and let them green up for about a month. And then when you put them in, they'll just start growing right away. And it also fights off fungus and stuff like that.
So just in the house put them in egg cartons?
Yeah, just put them in egg cartons and
Huh.
green them up.
Okay,
And they'll change, they'll be sitting there for a while, all of a sudden they'll turn dark green, and there it is.
and then they're ready.
And then they'll start growing roots and everything else, so then, yeah, they're ready to go.
Okay.
Oh, and the potato itself, when you put it in, it grows potatoes from the seed up. So like this, all the way up. So the deeper you can put it in the pot, the better, and then it can spread out.
Okay.
So it's,
Do you leave the cartons dry or do you dampen them,
um,
the egg cartons?
oh, no, you just dry. Yeah, just dry.
You just do what?
Keep them dry, yeah, you don't want to get them wet or anything.
And they grow roots?
A little bit, just starting. But usually they just green up. And as soon as they're green, then it's about time to go ahead and put them in the ground. So I put them, well, let's see, I get the potatoes about the end of March, and then they green up about the end of April. And then I put them in as early as the end of April, April 27th last year. And they grew in. And then I dumped some out at 90 days to see what I got, and I didn't have anything. They were just smaller than small potatoes, so I thought, so I waited. And then about 120 to 130 days, all of a sudden, great big potatoes. And especially the purple Viking, they'll get quite large. And there was lots of those russets, big long russets. And now the red potatoes, they had a tendency to stay small, but lots of them, maybe 30, 40 of them. And the Yukon Gold, there's only like 6, but they're all pretty big.
Right.
So, could you put different varieties in the same pot, like 2 or 3 varieties?
Yeah, you could do that. That should be no problem. It's a good point, maybe I'll try that too. Because I just wanted to see basically what 5 in a pot would do instead of just 1. I thought at first, one, but once they literally filled the pot like this, just 1 potato, so.
And then when the top's dry,
Yeah,
they're
when the
ready.
top started yellowing and drying, and then it was time to pick them. And that was, like I said, about 120 days, so.
And you water every 3 days?
Yeah, when it was real hot last year, and I waited 5 days, and I noticed they started to wilt, and that's not a good thing. So every 2 to 3 days, you want to check them, make sure that they're not drying out on you.
Okay.
They take a lot of water, about 5 gallons of water a day, so surprising. And you could set them up on a drip irrigation if you wanted, or you could hand water, depending on if you got a lot, like, I might consider the drip irrigation because I've got so many of them.
Right.
How much did you say you watered them?
Every 2 to 3 days.
How much?
Oh, I fill them all the way up until they start to overflow and let that sink in. And then maybe when I'm coming back, I'll do it again. And that should do them for 2 or 3 days. And when it was real hot in July, I was checking them, and they were drying out pretty quick. So just keep an eye on them. Don't let them wilt.
Yeah, yeah.
Should they be in sun the entire day, or it's okay if they're in sun half the day and shade?
Well, it could be in shade half the day, but mine were in the sun full day.
Okay.
So it gives them all the growing that they can do. And then, with this, I'd water the pots with just water one first, and then I would water with this mycorrhizal fungi. And that way it wouldn't just go right through. It'd stay in the pot a little bit. It makes a big difference. So. Yeah, these pots run about $10 a piece. If he's in a good mood, he might get him. And I've got lots of pots that people give me and stuff, so I'm going to try some different experiments. I'll have the results next year.
Yeah.
Well, any other questions?
If
if there's no more potato questions, I
Okay.
just was looking at your card, and it says you have field-grown perennials?
Yes.
That you sell these to the public?
Yes?
And what, can you tell me what kind of perennials you have?
Oh, okay. I have things like Veronica and dianthus and peonies, and I custom grow things like lavender, all kinds of things.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I'll be selling these for $75 a pile.
Right.
Well, if any of you need some soil too, just come out in May. I'll be mixing some up.
Are you writing Kalispell or?
Yeah, I'm ready to Kalispell.
Okay,
You can just give me a call, take one of my cards or something.
okay.
Because I know, if you don't want to buy all this stuff, you can also use like potting soil, but make sure it's a fine quality one that has the magnesium and sulfur and all that stuff in it.
Right.
And then you could water it with a liquid fertilizer of some kind. Maybe feed it with some chicken manure or something like that.
Okay.
So, but this has everything in it. You won't be lacking in iron or calcium. Because last year I had a few problems. They were yellowing at times, and I thought, well, maybe it's lack of iron. It wasn't. Maybe it's lack of this or that. And I had a time trying to figure out what it was. But with this formula, you won't have to worry about that because
Okay.
it'll be rich enough.
And you're gonna try tomatoes?
I'm going to try tomato and 5 seed potatoes. See how they do.
1 tomato?
Well, I might do a few just to see how they do. I think 5 tomatoes, and I'd probably have all the tomatoes I need. So.
Right, yeah.
Especially if they grow as good as the potatoes
Right.
do. So, and you're all welcome to come out and take a look at the nursery anytime you want. I have lots of peonies too. Take a look at those.
So what do you mix this all in?
I've got a big yellow wheelbarrow, and I just dump everything in there, mix it all up, and put it right in there. But being as you're gonna not be using it until later, I might just put a basic formula in the bottom to get them started, and then once they get going, I'll put that rich and stuff in. Because it'll take about a month for them to come up and get going. So.
I've done potatoes over the last several years, and I had scab disease 3 years ago for the first time, and the only time. What causes it, and how do you prevent it?
Use my formula, and that will prevent it.
Well,
Well, it's basically, I think it's the mycorrhizal fungi that prevents it, because it gets in there, in and around the roots, and prevents that. And I talked to my niece who grows nothing but mushrooms, and she said, yeah, it'll kill it. So you could take this formula and then, dig your holes where you put the potatoes, and then just put that formula on it, and that would take care of that. Yeah, and I'd recommend getting this fungi preventer. You can get it on the internet, and he has all kinds of information in there.
Okay.
And they didn't last you the whole season.
Oh,
Nasty looking.
Well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.